The cost of living can be expensive. Paying for necessities like housing, power, water, groceries, clothing, and gas for your vehicle can really add up. But in some nations, the cost of living is very expensive, making it a struggle for many hardworking individuals and families to make a living. Various studies and surveys have been performed to determine which countries are the most expensive to live in. This survey took several factors into consideration, including the price of groceries, utility bills, rent, and transportation. These data are then compiled into an index. So here are the 10 most expensive countries to live in. Number 10. Ireland. Ireland is an expensive country to live in. Goods and services here cost a whopping 25% more than the average. International Citizens reports that housing expenses are higher in Ireland than in the United States, with some neighborhoods having prices comparable with London and New York City. The cost of living in Ireland is about 75.91. However, Ireland has free and subsidized public health care. Ireland has been one of the strongest in Europe in recent years with consistently rising wages and almost zero unemployment. Number 9. France. Cost of living is an essential factor to consider when preparing to move to France, mainly because it can vary significantly across the country, with Paris and Lyon being the most expensive places to live in. French housing is notoriously expensive if you go for the typical metropolitan apartment. When you go from a one-bedroom place to one with multiple bedrooms, the prices skyrocket even more. The cost of living index of France is 77.2. One positive aspect on the cost of living in France is subsidized healthcare. Thanks to some recent changes, everyone living in France for longer than 3 months is eligible for state health insurance, including foreigners. Number 8. South Korea. South Koreans work hard, are paid well and enjoy a stable currency and a high standard of living. The cost of living in South Korea is quite high, in general, though capital city Seoul is quite expensive. The cost of living index of the country is 78.1. Housing is typically South Korean residents' biggest expense. That said, foreigners are permitted to purchase real estate there, a privilege that is not possible in every country. Number 7. Singapore. Singapore is the second most expensive country in Asia, with the cost of living index 81.1. Singapore always places highly when it comes to the world's most expensive countries and cities, and the last decade or so has seen a huge increase in the prices of everyday items such as food, clothing, and medicine. With price hike, it wouldn't be a surprise if Singapore continues to climb the ranking of the most expensive places to live. Number 6. Luxembourg. The European country of Luxembourg has been classified and defined as one of the richest countries in the world for its GDP per capita. Luxembourg has a small population compared to most countries on this list, with just over 600,000 inhabitants. The country has an impressive minimum wage of $13.78 per hour, one of the highest in the world. Cost of living index in Luxembourg is 81.8, which is more expensive than in 81% of the cities in Western Europe. Number 5. Denmark. Denmark is an expensive expat destination, and the cost of living is high, even by European standards. The second highest ranking Scandinavian country with an index score of 83, Denmark is not for those wanting to live on the cheap. Its restaurant prices are the third highest in the world. Many people here live in shared accommodation, which is of course cheaper, but also easier to come by. Luckily, salaries are relatively high to balance the high cost of goods and services in Denmark. Number 4. Japan. Tokyo has been rated as one of the 3 Asian cities where it is most expensive to lead a luxury lifestyle, along with Hong Kong and Shanghai, according to the Global Wealth and Lifestyle Report. It's expensive for the average person as well, with Japan also being the 4th most expensive place to do your grocery shopping. The cost of living index in Japan is 83.3, topping 80% of countries around the world. Life expectancy in Japan is high, with men living to 81 and women to 88 on average. And for all of those years, citizens are going to be paying more than most to live in their home country. Number 3. Iceland. Iceland has tight regulations when it comes to importing foreign goods, and these drive up the prices of products. And so, as for its Scandinavian neighbors, food costs are high, and Iceland's groceries score is the second highest. The cost of living index in Iceland is about 100.4. There is some consolation when it comes to the cost utilities, however, as the country's infrastructure relies heavily on inexpensive geothermal heating. Number 2. Norway. The priciest of the Scandinavian countries, Norway takes second place with a cost of living index 101.4. The average cost of living in Norway will depend on the lifestyle you lead and where in the country you choose to settle. Rental accommodation is expensive in the major cities, and especially in Oslo and Stavanger. Food has a lower tax rate at just 15%, but is still considered expensive. Most people in Norway have a good salary. They work an average of 37.5 hours per week and have 6 weeks paid vacation. Number 1. Switzerland. Switzerland is the world's most expensive country to live in by a mile. The country has a cost of living index score of 122.4 and is more than 20% more expensive than runner-up Norway. You won't find anywhere in the world more expensive on average to do your grocery shopping or eat out, but the country does offer an excellent lifestyle if you can afford it. Switzerland's 3 biggest cities, Zurich, Geneva, and Basel, all sit comfortably within the top ranking of cities in the world for the best quality of life.